Welcome back, my super six sensory friend and person in the wonderland. Just start to see yourself as someone different. This is time to reframe your identity and to begin to envision yourself as someone who really is guided, as someone who's confident, as someone who will have the answers when you need the answers, not in advance, but I expect good things. I expect guidance. My inner self will take over. I don't have to worry. My barking dog's not in charge. I'm good. I trust. And with that, we're now going to go to the last decision and the fun, game-changing decision of acting on your intuition. So today I want to make the invitation, not the assignment, the invitation to consider play is the way. And I'm going to give you several ways to play, to have dialogue with the self that knows, your inner genie, your own bright light, and begin to have a regular conversation that invites that part of you to take over. So, step one, start talking to your divine self, your guiding self, your inner compass, your light first. We've already shut off all the input from the outer world, but that doesn't mean we have turned up the dial yet to this inner conversation. The simplest way is to use a tool that I call my head and my heart. So instead of having these two things fight, you give both a voice. Now, you have to bring a question or a consideration or a concern to your inner self. You have to be authentic and genuine and available to real guidance. We've already discussed that. So don't ask your inner self for guidance if you are not available. But if you are, first we're going to do something I call empty the garbage. We're going to just let all the barking dog noise be recognized and eliminated. And the way you do that is you start saying very quickly, and you have to answer fast, I'm afraid of, and fill in the blank. So let's present the option. I want to leave my job and I want to start my own business. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been feeling it. I've been dwelling on it, but I haven't made the move. I'm afraid of going broke. I'm afraid of getting over my head. I'm afraid I don't have the skill I need. I'm afraid that I will fail miserably. I'm afraid that I'll succeed and I won't know what to do with that. You just say, I'm afraid of, and fill in the blank until there's nothing more. And it's okay to repeat what you're afraid of because some of that gets really burrowed in there. And then when you're done, I want you to look around the room and notice 3 separate things and say and name what they are. I see the wall. I see the books. I see the window. I see the floor. This brings you out of the bad neighborhood, back into your body and present. My spirit says, or my heart says, or my inner genie says, fast. Don't think. My inner genie said, it's okay. My inner genie says, you're ready to do this. My inner genie says, ask for an assistant, get some help. My inner genie says, you're not ready, but here's the next step. You don't know what's going to come out, but you have to say it fast and quick and just do this for 30 seconds. Then breathe down the slide, and smile. And then pay attention to how you feel in your body. One of my big questions I have been often given is, how do I know it's guidance instead of my emotions or my ego, or how do I know? It's a good question. You know because of how you feel. If it's real guidance, you feel peaceful. You feel congruent, calm and quiet. It feels like a key that fits into a lock. It feels true. If it's your intellect, if it's your barking dog, you feel agitated. You feel like you still want to talk. It always has some more to say. Intuition is very subtle, very quick, and very simple. It doesn't talk a lot. It doesn't go on and on and on. It's direct and simple and So this empty the garbage is a really good tool to use to get that inner guidance right now. You want to do something better? Have this conversation and do this tool. Use this tool when you're on a walk outside alone. Out loud. Let everybody think you've lost your mind. It doesn't matter if you see anybody on the street. But as you're walking, voice my fears. Voice my fear. Voice my fear. What do you see right in front of you? My inner guidance says, my inner guidance says, my inner guidance says. You'll always get an answer. So that's a really effective tool. Another one is what I love, what I love, what I love. Again, same thing. We're opening this channel, letting the heart speak. So as you walk along, you just say, I love good coffee in the morning, the real stuff with real cream. I love disco music. I love a real hug and not a burp. I love laughing so hard I want to wet my pants. I love when somebody else cooks for me and I don't have to do the dishes. Just keep naming what you love because it keeps bringing you right back to your authentic self. And then take it from what I love from before to what I love going forward, as if it were the present. I love writing my own books and signing them at the book sign. I love the applause I hear when I've just done my first film and it's being displayed at its opening. I love that real hug with that wonderful person that I know is looking for me and found me. And this really brings you into alignment and starts to direct you right to where your heart belongs, right to where your life belongs, right to the path that is for you. The key is this: none of this is in your head. None of it. It's in your heart, in your body, out loud. When you start to express your intuition, you train your barking dog to not fight it. You train your barking dog to get on board, to support it. It's playful. You know, Einstein, when he was older, right before he died, someone asked him, what do you attribute to your genius? What was the most important thing you ever did in your life? And they actually asked him, how did you discover the theory of relativity? He said, I wasn't looking for it. I was listening to a beautiful piece of music because that's my favorite recreation, and it dropped in. So that's what happens when you go to the I love experience. You start to expand, and it's like opening a big available receptacle for the things in your life, the people, the ideas, the creations to drop in. And you have to open that space, and that's what the I love space does. I had a client that I've known actually for 30 years, very talented client. She was a caretaker by skill. She did hair, she did massage, she did all kinds of things that help people feel better, but her love was music. And her other love was being studying metaphysics, studying spirituality, studying intuitive things. Her whole life was just one series after another of disappointments, bad relationships, disappointing jobs, a lot of accidents. And I just talked to her the other day after I haven't talked to her in 20 years. And she said, Sonia, I hate my life. I don't have the right life. I have the wrong life. And I said, you have the right life. You have the wrong attitude. Because everything that you love is valuable and you can use it. You can put your songs on. Now we don't need gatekeepers. You can produce your own songs. For all this 35 years of studying all this spirituality and coaching, be a coach. Sing your songs. And she said, every day people call me for guidance. And every day I give those people my song. I just don't think that it has any value, so I give it away. I said, well, you're doing what you love? And she said, that part I am. Then put value on it. Your attitude is what's missing. Your life is working. She's like, aha, never thought of it that way. Who knows what'll happen with her? That was a very recent conversation, but you have to spin around and change your perceptions and recognize what is of value in your life. Are you doing what you love? Put value on it. Other people told her there was no value to her spiritual interests, even though she was a very talented coach. Other people told her there was no value to her music, although people have asked her every day for 30 years for her music. So you have to see that. And now there is another little tool that's kind of fun. This was one of the first tools I learned. It's called fishing for ideas, fishing for inspiration, fishing for the answer. Where you sit down, you close your eyes, you just imagine, what guidance am I looking for? And again, let me remind you, it has to be real. You have to be really available to the answer. So if you are enmeshed in a relationship that you're not ready to leave and every ounce of you knows it sucks and you don't want to go, don't ask your guidance, should I go? Because you've already decided, I'm not ready. But if you're actually uncertain and prepared, and you're feeling a guidance, is this correct for me? Show me what's true. Then present it to your guidance. And don't ask it as a should I question. For example, moving to a foreign country. Fish. See the little fishing rod go out, the little worm, zzz, pull it in. What do you see? Yes or no? Something will pop up, or wait. You don't know, but the minute you get the first answer, say it out loud. It's a game. We're just playing. This is not a test. It's a game. And you don't have to follow the guidance yet. Just receive the guidance. You still have a choice. Get practicing the guidance. Get into the conversation with your divine self. Create a space and a place for the input to come. And I have a final and really fun tool. It trains your brain to be creative and to open up the pathway for real divine inspiration, really good ideas to come in. And it's called 19 Solutions. Now, in our traditional training, perception, education, there's one problem, there's one answer. It's very linear. But when you begin to live in Wonderland, I was taught, and I've used this my whole life, that there's never one answer to anything. There are actually 19 answers minimum to any problem, any obstacle, any question, any uncertainty. So this is a game you play. Present the issue that you're struggling with. I'm miserable in my relationship. What do I do? And then instead of trying to figure out the right answer, write down or say out loud, but it is fun to write it down, 19 solutions. 19. Just, I could live next door. I could have 3 girlfriends or 3 boyfriends. I could leave altogether. It's sort of like the song 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That was actually one of my favorite songs because I thought, okay, this is another version of 19 Solutions. You might even play that song just to give you the idea that it's not all or nothing, black or white. That's never true. And it starts to train your awareness to connect with your divine, your intuitive self, and become receptive to things you never considered. One of my clients used the 19 Solutions because she had a job that she felt she was tied to for security, but she hated it. Should I leave? Should I go? I don't see any other alternative. I've been here so long. A lot of reasons. So she wrote down 19 solutions. One of them was to actually tell her workmates she didn't like them. And she thought, well, that's rude. That's bold. So, because she was leaving anyway, she thought, well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll just do that, because she was so resentful and she was so resistant that she said, if I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose it on my terms. If I'm going to walk out, I'm going to walk out telling everybody what I think. So she called a meeting and she said, I'm leaving today, and the reason I'm leaving is I don't like any of you. One of her workmates said, well, actually, that's pretty obvious. You put out such a bad vibe and you put out such resistance and such defensiveness. We don't know what we did. And she was surprised. She goes, what do you mean? I'm not doing that. And they said, oh, yes, you are. You don't feel good. We don't feel comfortable trying anything with you. We actually want to work with you. We want to try some projects with you, but you're hard to get to. It never occurred to her that maybe she was the problem. So one of her workmates said, why don't you just stay for another month? If you still don't like us in another month, then quit. But can we tell you if we don't like you too? And if you're showing up in a way that we're not enjoying, I mean, if we're going to be that open and honest around here, when it made her laugh. And when you laugh, you're on the way up in the elevator to a higher vibe. And she said, okay. So for the next month, she stayed, and everybody started playing, I don't like you, but it got sillier and sillier and sillier. And at the end of 30 days, she was having the best time. They were having such a creative experience together. None of the barking dogs were in hiding and ambushing one another. They fought it out and started playing. And the next thing you know, they elevated up to spirit. She didn't quit her job. She's still there, and she's having the time of her life. 19 solutions. So try that, but do remember, the way to get to this place is you have to meditate in the morning. You have to train yourself to create the space to receive good ideas. You have to create the space at night to rest the brain and be receptive, because a lot of your intuition will even come in your dream state. So this is just a different way. Play. Play is the way. And the more you play, the more connected you'll become to your own spirit, to your authentic self, to the spirit and the authentic connection with others, like what happened with my client, and to the quantum field, where you connect to the beautiful genius that resonates and matches where you're going. So play is the way, meditate is the door into the playful arena. Have fun. Put anything on the community board that shows up. Speak out. It's very important. And I'll see you tomorrow.